everyone, this is Olga Yaroshevsky, and this is our NexChange Interview Series, where we get to discuss the latest news and trends with our Hong Kong Blockchain Week speakers. And look who I have today. It's Michael Nye. Hey, Michael.
Hey, Olga, how are you?
I'm good. I don't even think I need to introduce you. Like, you don't even need an introduction. People probably line up to make a selfie with you, don't they?
Sometimes it definitely happens. It definitely happens.
What have you been up to lately?
Just working. I got back from Korea recently, so we were in Korea and Beijing for the economy and a couple other events out there. Just meeting some cool people, traveling around, getting some cool interviews. So I've been working really hard on my podcast, which is Evolvement, and trying to get as much educational content out to people as possible, as well as trying to learn as much as I can myself, because I think that's really the name of the game is education here. So yeah, I've been doing all that ever since I saw you in Hong Kong, and headed over to LA Blockchain Week that just finished up yesterday, and taking a little breather until Consensus in New York.
Wow, that's a very tight schedule.
Yeah, it doesn't stop. It doesn't stop. It's pretty crazy.
Cool. So about the podcast that you're doing an amazing job, and it's actually very close to what I'm doing right now, interviewing people, right, and educating community about blockchain technology. And I know that you managed to interview Roger Ver, the Bitcoin Jesus. I know that this is yet about to go live soon, but I saw you tweeting about this. Can you tell us about this podcast? How was it? What impression did you have?
Totally. This is my first time. I had met Roger in Korea last year, but this is my first time really having a conversation with him. It's a mixed feeling, because people really don't like Roger, and there's a huge negative sentiment around him in the community. But at the same time, I sat down with the guy, and he definitely has some extreme belief systems about Bitcoin and how Bitcoin Cash is better than it, and about how pretty much the Lightning Network will fail, and all of these different, or is failing already, and all of these different belief systems that he has. But the matter of fact is, I came out of the interview with way more respect for him than I had previously had. And this is for me personally, it's because I saw the dude is really passionate about what he does. Whether he's right, whether he's wrong is a whole other argument. But the guy has put his whole life on the line, his whole reputation on the line for something that he believes in. And to a degree, I can respect that. I can see that he's very passionate about it and about what he does. And besides that, I mean, Roger was definitely a huge benefactor to Bitcoin, and a huge spokesperson for Bitcoin back in the early days. He was always sharing it with people, and he was definitely a catalyst for people to learn about Bitcoin. So I have respect for that as well. Yeah, pretty much the whole interview ended, and I had more respect for Roger, even with his belief systems than I had previously had.
I can't disagree about him being very passionate about what he does, about everything he does. I interviewed him once, and you can't even resist this energy that's going from him. Okay, other than Roger, what other what's the most interesting, the most educating, the most exciting podcast that you had lately?
That's a good question. Ever since Hong Kong, actually, I came up with an idea in Hong Kong to reformat my podcast into different series. So it'll be 3 to 5 episodes per series, and they'll all be focused around one specific educational topic. So the very first series is called the Security Token Series, and I'm bringing guests on. We're about 3 or 4 guests into the Security Token Series right now, and I'm bringing guests on to talk about security tokens, to discuss this entire brand new market that's opening up in the cryptocurrency, digital currency, digital asset realm, and that's been the most interesting for me. And specifically, I had a guest. His name's Steven Nureyev. He's a good friend of mine. He pretty much helped co-found Ethereum, even though he's technically not a co-founder. He wrote the ICO, the law behind the ICO for Ethereum, and figured out the utility and things like that. So I was able to sit down with him, and we had a full conversation on security tokens, and it's just really educational, because I think there's a lot of confusion and misunderstanding about whether security tokens are relevant, why they're relevant, and how they're going to play a role in this ecosystem. So that's been a fun one. And also recently, which isn't released yet, but I'm working on a series around Venezuela and what's happening in Venezuela right now with the Bolivar, with their economy, and how Bitcoin and cryptocurrency are playing a role. So I sat down with one of the guys over at Dash and interviewed him about what was going on in Venezuela, how Dash is playing a role, how Bitcoin's playing a role. And that was also a really cool interview that probably will be released sometime in the next month or something.
Okay, so STOs, national currencies, what else? I saw you talking to a lot of people about the mass adoption. Is that right?
Of course, yeah. I just got off an interview with a really good guy named Brad from a company called Unstoppable Domains. And what's cool about that is what they're trying to do is and what they are doing. It's not even they're creating very simple ways to share your public key with people. So right now, I think one of the major barriers for adoption is if I want to send you money, Olga, via Bitcoin to wherever you are, the problem is I have to copy and paste a 15, 20 letter and number phrase that is pretty much a giant mess. What Unstoppable Domains is trying to do, part of what they're trying to do is they're allowing you to create an address that says olga.eth. And what olga.eth would have is it would have your Bitcoin address, it would have your Ethereum address, it would have any other addresses that you'd like to include in that. And I would literally type into the public key bar olga.eth, and I would click send, and it would automatically decipher whether I'm sending Bitcoin, whether I'm sending Ethereum, whether I'm sending Tron, whatever these are, and it would directly send it to your accounts. So pretty much they're simplifying the entire process of public keys and sending/receiving cryptocurrency.
Other than cryptocurrencies, other than fintech, what industries are you looking into? AI, I don't know, AR, VR, anything.
VR and AR have been super interesting to me recently. I just got an Oculus Go, which is one of the little headset thingies, and I've been playing around, playing poker, shooting zombies, and watching movies, going on like tours of parks and things like that, national parks. And it's a blast. It's a whole different world. I can literally sit in my living room, put a headset on, and enter into an entire different reality. And I just sat down. I was in Korea, and I just sat down with a company that's actually creating full body virtual reality suits. So you'll be able to have the full sensation of touch, of smell, of taste, of all of these different things while in the virtual reality world. And yeah, I'm really excited to see kind of where all that stuff goes.
Back to cryptocurrencies. You actually made headlines this week telling that, I quote, Bitcoin will never get under 4K again. Well, that's very optimistic. What made you say that? Were you convinced by that CNBC analyst that said that the performance of the Bitcoin CME futures that broke the all-time high means that the institutional money is here, so the Bitcoin is getting closer to 20K again? Did you see that? Were you convinced by that?
I didn't see that one specifically, but I don't know. I think for me, I just think that if in terms of investment, 3 to 4K was an obvious place to start investing, and there was definitely a potential for it to go down lower to 2,800, 2,000 or whatever it was. But with this recent move up from, I think it was about 4K all the way up to, I think it touched about 5,300 in the last couple of weeks. And the fact that it stayed there as well, there's been very strong support around the $4,800 to $5,000 area. It's made me really, really bullish on Bitcoin and on all of these other cryptocurrencies out there. And we're just starting to see more adoption. We're starting to see companies actually partner with real legitimate companies that have over $1 billion valuations and have actual real world use cases and have been functioning and selling real products. And the more that we see cryptocurrencies partnering with these kind of things, the more I get bullish on the fact that we're moving into a bull market, hopefully.
Doesn't it conflict, in your opinion, with the whole concept of decentralization of the anonymity? No, I mean the mass adoption, the fact that the big institutions are embracing the technology, they are adopting the technology, cryptocurrencies in particular. Doesn't it conflict the whole idea?
Agreed. I do agree. I think there's different parts. I think that's like the fact of the matter is the only real decentralized projects are really Bitcoin, and you could argue Ethereum as well. The rest of them are not really truly decentralized. So I think they're partly decentralized, which is good, but they're not fully decentralized. And I think that there's going to be different ways that we interact with this. I don't think that everyone needs or really like understands decentralization or understands that they need decentralization completely, which is okay. And we also got to look at like the fact that it's going to take time to adopt something, and it would take lots of years to actually adopt something to become fully decentralized. Now, I think that something like Bitcoin is in its decentralized nature is what makes it unique and what makes it really special. And we'll see if there's some other projects that can come out that can be fully decentralized as well. But in terms of other companies adopting things that are not fully decentralized, but maybe partially decentralized, like I think it's a first step. It's kind of like planting a seed into an ecosystem that had no capacity to understand that they needed that seed, or that seed would potentially bring the environment value in the long term.
And it's a matter of balance after all, I guess.
Exactly.
I know that you spend a lot of time in Asia. So what do you think it's the next hot big thing for blockchain business?
That's a good question. I'm really excited to see. I'm not sure if it's the next big thing, but the thing that excites me the most is I'm really excited to see how virtual reality and augmented reality like tie in together with crypto. Right now they're pretty separate. There's a couple projects that are working together to build something like such as Centraland is pretty much building an entire ecosystem in virtual reality that integrates with their token, with their mana token, as well as non-fungible tokens to buy assets such as like digital land and things like that. That really, really interests me. And I think that Asia is going to be the leader in that. I was in Korea and a lot of these people are working on some next level virtual reality and augmented reality things that, in my opinion, we're going to come out maybe in 5 or 10 years. They're already building it. They're already working on it. So that's what excites me the most.
So it all started with crypto games, and now we're going back to crypto games.
Exactly. I guess so. We'll see. We'll see what happens. That's the fun part about this whole industry. You never know what's going to happen. You never know what's going to unfold.
Well, hopefully we'll see more use cases and more people for you to invite to your podcast.
Agree, and same with you.
Thank you, Michael. That was very interesting, and I'll see you soon.
All right, Olga. I'll talk to you soon.